What's up, YouTubers? One of my viewers actually suggested it would be helpful to produce just a short video on how I actually utilize this scorpion lock and quickly retract the blade back because it tends to be a little bit smoother than it works for most people. So what we're going to do is just going to reverse time a little bit. By the way, these band-aids are not from knives. It's from replacing the pinion seal on my four-wheel drive. So we're going to go back in time just a little bit to, this is the Klecker lock mechanism used on the CRKT NERC tie. And if you take a look, there's a little notch there, and that notch goes into the back of a pin. I will go ahead and link the video review of this knife, but I've had this some time. And this was the first use of this kind of notch lock in there. I call it a notch lock. I don't know what else it is. This is called an integral, basically back lock or something like that, but it works like a back lock. Basically, you have a notch, you have a piece of material that goes in there. And so I learned basically to push this one away because there was no real clean way to do it one-handed, but to basically put your hands, pinch back here, and then push, and it obviously retracts it back very fast. So I had experience with this, I don't know, a year or two before even seeing the scorpion lock, and it was basically, I'm not saying it's the same thing, not a copy. It's just very unsafe to reach back on this one and let it fly down, because that's going to go right on your hands if you have your finger there. I mean, that's going to basically create a guillotine. So that's not something you want. So basically, it's the only way that made sense is to pinch that and push there. So, excuse me, that's the historical. So shoot forward to the scorpion lock, and basically the same thing. Initially, it obviously doesn't have the spring back, because, you know, I started with the scorpion lock and just with that same effect of doing this. And in fact, I'll show you one of the first things I'll tell you not to do. Do not put your hand or your finger and thumb in this really tight pinch area right there. You're going to want to go back to here where you have much more space, because I did push it there because that's where I was on the other one. And then when I got it to actually close, it was pinching on my thumb and or middle finger on the back side. So you do not want to be there. So first and foremost, basically set yourself down here into this nice little groove there, and you can kind of see that. So set yourself there, and then just start by literally pressing on the blade, and that gives you automatic resistance to overcome the spring force tension back here. And literally just get comfortable with doing that. Once you do that 5 times, you'll be like, oh yeah, that's pretty easy. And then it's just literally a matter of slapping a little bit of wrist. And you just got to practice that, just slapping some wrist. And I'm not the greatest. I haven't really done this a lot left-handed, but again, if you just put your left-hand side there, press. This would be kind of your training, if you will, to send this knife, and then just do a little bit of wrist. And yeah, you'll master it left-handed. See, I ended up a little short there. So just practice it a few times. But yeah, once you get that wrist in, you'll have no problems retracting this thing back, and it'll be kind of a slick action. One of the things I will say, that going back and reviewing this again, is you do have, this is one of the few cold steel knives, this AD-15, that it fully exposes here with this scorpion lock, the piece that rides on there. So instead of using KPL, knife pivot lube, and actual oil, I do use Tough Glide, and that will reduce your friction on this, and it's a dry lube, if you will. I think it's essentially the same as nano oil. If you have nano oil, it basically comes on dry, and that's what you'll want to put on there. And then actually what you do is you put some on with a little Q-tip, run it through a few times, and then just leave it overnight, and it'll actually dry up. But it'll leave that nice frictionless. So you do want a nice frictionless service on that one. So hopefully this was of use for those of you that use AD-15s, and also you can do the lite. That's I think actually what spawned this one. Is it works the exact same thing with the lite though. So yeah, hopefully this was of use. If it was, I appreciate a like, man. Take care.